Hello, everyone. Happy Wednesday evening. I am so excited to be here. I'm not only excited to be here. Well, let me just say, my name is Ralph Peterson, and this is Unapologetically Keto. If you have ever found yourself in a position where you are having to over-explain or feel like you've been having to over-explain and justify whatever harebrained schemed diet that you're deciding to embark on, let me first and foremost say, me too. I spent nearly my entire life having to make excuses and explain, well, I have to count, or I have to track, or I'm only eating fiber, or I'm doing Jenny Craig, so I get these little deal meal things, or I'm doing Weight Watchers, or I'm on, I'm on Atkins, like always. I feel like my entire life I've had to defend to my friends and loved ones what crazy, like it would almost be a joke, like, what crazy diet are you on now, Peterson? That kind of thing. And hence the title of this show, I am no longer, with peace and love, of course, I am no longer defending myself. I am unapologetically keto. This is the Unapologetically Keto. I'm Ralph Peterson. I'm your host. And in this show, I'm just going to literally just share my experience before keto, i.e. at 350 pounds. You can see the lovely photos. I put a bunch of pictures behind me. I used to be there was a time when there would be no way that I would ever put pictures like this. I would be mad somebody took my picture, right? Like, what are you doing? Don't take my picture. All right. Let's get into the first and foremost thing. I want to talk about my numbers. I'm going to show you something. I'm going to pull it up right now. This has been the last 28 days. I think this is a 28-day review here. I think it's 28 days. Well, January 3rd to, so 20, all right. The month of January anyway. What I want you to notice is this last few days, my ketones dropped on January 24th. Today's the 28th, so 4 days ago, my ketones were at the lowest they've been, 0.3, the lowest they've been. Before this moment, I had a 0.7, I had a 0.7, and then I had, what is this? Come on. Oh, come on. All right, I'm not able to click on any of these. Why not? You know what? Sometimes if I just use my pen. There you are. What is that? A 1.0, a 1.1, a 1.0, a 1.1. Okay, so you see this steady decline. I went from 1.1 to 0.07 to 0.07 to 0.3 to 0.6 to 0.8 to 1.1 to 1.4. And then I had a 1.2. That was both. These were both taken today. I did my blood first thing this morning when I woke up, and then I did it again before I had a can of sardines. Now, why did I have a can of sardines? Oh, by the way, if you look at my glucose as well, look at this. My lowest ketones were at 0.03, and at that same time, my glucose was 94, and then 108, and then 104. The question is, why? What was happening? And I'm still learning, to be quite fair. I might not have all the answers as to why this is happening, but because it wasn't like I was out eating bread or potato, or like, I did have a little carb creep, but that was 10 days ago. I mean, that was legitimately the Sunday before last Sunday. I mean, it was 10 days ago. I haven't had any carbohydrates. I think, well, that's not fair to say. I mean, I did have some heavy cream. I did buy some heavy cream. I did enjoy some heavy cream this past week. And maybe it's the milk solid. Maybe heavy cream. I know a lot of people on keto carnivore talk about having carnivore ice cream, which is whipped heavy cream and put in the freezer. And maybe maybe my body just doesn't do well. I don't know. I don't know. I don't have the answer. But I do know, because I'm a good student. Pay attention. I'm a good student of Dr. Boz's. Make sure you're watching Dr. Boz. Look her up on YouTube. I am a good student of hers. And so I do know when I saw my ketones go to 0.3 and then 0.7, I was like, okay, all right. I don't want to. I do not want to. But I know what I have to do. I have to sardine fast. I have to spend 3 solid days, 72 hours, of eating nothing but sardines. And I know the rules. That you have to eat at least 2 cans of sardines a day. That's a really interesting rule, because if you've not tried sardines and you're like, hey, I'll try the sardine challenge, and it's the first time you're trying sardines, let me tell you that what is going to happen. You're going to take one bite and you're going to go, I'd rather not eat. That's why there's a 2-can minimum during the sardine challenge. You have to at least have 2 cans. And I'm going to be honest with you, I can barely get 2 cans down. And I don't mean 2 cans in one sitting. I mean, I have 1 can at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I'll have another can at 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And that second can I'm eating, I am struggling, because I'd rather starve. But a sardine challenge is super important for your mitochondria. It is very important to strengthen your mitochondria. It is 75% fat, 25% protein. And in fact, Dr. Boz says to add more fat. So add a couple of teaspoons or tablespoons of MCT oil or olive oil or coconut oil or butter, something that is good for you to get your C8 and C10 something triglycerides. This is what I forgot I had this. I was just watching Dr. Boz on live. She goes live Tuesday nights 4 p.m. East Coast time. Do not miss Dr. Boz's live. I was watching her live last night, and she was somebody had asked a question about brain health, and which I'm very interested in. She does a brain course, and one of us, me, I might be starting to get a little nerdy on this medical stuff. I am so fascinated with cell development, with mitochondria, with the brain, with the idea of a blood-brain barrier, of different fats can transfer and not transfer, and triglycerides, and keto and ketosis and ketogenic, and I look at this. I dropped something. Look at this. I'm not making this up. I mean, stay off my operating table. Wheat belly, the lives of a cell. This is Dr. Boz's book, Any Way You Can. I can't recommend that enough. Keto Clarity. I just found out about Jimmy Moore. Jimmy Moore, he wrote this. Where have I been? How have I been dieting for 30 years? 2014. Jimmy Moore, let me give a shout out to Jimmy Moore. Jimmy Moore wrote this book in 2014, and I can't believe I didn't find it till 2026. I can't believe it. The Metabolic Freedom. I just got this in the mail, the liver book. I'm so interested in the liver. My biology teacher in high school would be so impressed with me right now. I got to tell you, I'm fascinated. I'm so fascinated. I'm so interested. I want to know everything. I'm down. Oh my God. I weighed myself before I came on tonight. And it's not official because I officially weigh in on Saturdays, but I'll tell you what Saturday's weight was. Saturday's weight was to 194.3 pounds. 194.3. I have not weighed under 200 pounds since I got out of boot camp in the Marine Corps, out of Marine Corps boot camp, which was in 1996, 7. Maybe it was beginning of 98. I don't know. My point is, it's been a long time. You know what? That actually brings me to the other thing. I'm wearing a Marine Corps shirt. Can you see this? Can you look at this? Here it is. Look at this. This is a large, which first of all, let's hoop. I mean a large. I mean, come on. I love that. But I want to tell you something that is very interesting. Very interesting. You know what? Tonight, I want to make this show. I'm going to share. We're going to have a good time. Let's just have fun. F it, right? Like, what do we do? Man to man. Let's just talk. I'm going to share some embarrassing stories. Maybe you have some embarrassing stories, but I had, my wife and I went out to dinner on Friday night with some friends, and these friends, I'm going to say it. They are what I would maybe not say, out of disrespect. I mean this with peace and love. I'm happy for them. But they have never been heavy. They're never heavies. All right? Like, maybe if they heard me refer to them as never heavies, maybe they would push back like, I was 20 pounds overweight or something. Trust me. Unless you're 200 plus pounds overweight, peace and love, you've never been heavy. My opinion. Anyway, it's just simply not on the level that do you see this guy behind me? This isn't somebody else, all right? This is me. This is me. Anyway. And I know that they've never been heavy because of the questions that they ask me about being heavy. Because they haven't seen me in a while. And so they're like, oh my God, Ralph, you look amazing. Look how chilled your face looks. Oh my God. Like, what are you doing? And then they're like, have you, when you were at your heaviest, did you know you were that heavy? Like, a heavy person or somebody who has been heavy wouldn't ask that question. I mean, you would know the answer to that question. The answer to that question is, yes, ma'am, I did know I was heavy. And I did not like it when you pointed it out. Right. So anyway, we got into storytelling, and I started to share all of these super embarrassing stories that I'm going to share with you tonight. They're in retrospect. I mean, now it's been 15 years or more since some of these stories have happened, and so I can laugh about it now. I could not laugh about it when I was that guy. Okay, I couldn't laugh about it, but I can laugh about it now. Anyway, get back to the Marine Corps shirt here. I'm a Marine, and I've always wanted to be a Marine. My grandfather was a Marine. My dad was a Marine. I mean, I played soldier as a kid. I mean, my older brother loved Indians, so he always wanted to play cowboys and Indians, and I always just wanted to be the Marine who shot the cowboys and the Indians. I had no discretionary. I was just a little kid. I'm like, we're supposed to shoot everybody. You're supposed to be on the cowboy side. I didn't want to be on the cowboy side. I wanted to be on the Marine Corps side. Long story short, I always wanted to be a Marine, and so then I go and I serve, and it was fun, it was great, all the things. And then I get out of the Marine Corps, and let me back up and say this. For those who have not been in the military, and I think it's true with all military branches, not just the Marine Corps. If you served in any military branch, God bless you. Thank you for that. But we all basically suffer from the same things. When you go to boot camp, you start out like really struggling to, sit up straight and stand tall, all the things. But then at some point, you are just kind of doing it without even knowing you're doing it. Like, you just stand up straight. You just sit up straight. You just, you just address everybody as yes, ma'am, yes, sir. It just becomes second nature. Like, you don't even think about it. And I remember I got sick in boot camp, and I came down with like pneumonia or something. It was like right before drill too, so it was really bad. But I mean, I was not in a good way. And so they sent me to the They sent me to the doctor or the infirmary. They sent me to a doctor, and I go in and I see the doctor, and the doctor was like really nice, and he was like, "Hey, you can relax," and I was like, "Yeah, okay." And then he looks back over, he goes, seriously, you don't have to sit at attention. And I didn't even know I was sitting at attention. You know what I mean? Like, it was so ingrained by the time that I was probably 8 weeks in. It was actually right. Let me think about it. Maybe it was like 8 or 10 weeks in. It was right before the rifle range, because I went to the rifle, obviously I had to do that. I think you go to the rifle range 8 or 10 weeks in, and then there's a drill competition. Somebody will correct me. Either that or the drill competition comes first and then the rifle range. I don't know. Either way. So in 8 or 10 weeks of being in this, Marine Corps bubble, I had become a certain way. Like, I was the type who, yes, ma'am, yes, sir, sitting up straight, keeping my hands off the table, elbows off the table, like all those men, like just instilled in me. And they carry you through pretty good. But then at some point you get out of the Marine Corps and you start developing new habits and new standards. And at some point I started, gaining weight. And I'll be honest, I was heavy even in the Marine Corps. I was heavy. I wasn't allowed. I was one of those in boot camp who wasn't allowed to have a cookie. And that's not all that big of a deal, except everybody got a cookie after dinner. Even after, like, a bag lunch even came with a cookie. And I had to, like, hand mine. How embarrassing. Like, here's my cookie. Oh, I'm too fat to have a cookie. Let me get, good Lord. Being fat ain't no joke. Being fat is no joke. I mean, it is tough, right? It is mentally a fortuitous game. I'll tell you that. Anyway, so I got out of the Marine Corps and I become this, 350 plus pound behemoth of a guy. And I found, and I can't believe I'm sharing this, but here it is. I found a 3X Marine Corps sweatshirt. Like, it was like a red sweatshirt and it's 3X, and so it fit me. And so now I'm wearing a 3X. And by the way, I'm not wearing a 3X. I am barely wearing. It barely fits me. It doesn't fit me well. I mean, I'm 350 pounds. But I'm wearing this 3X Marine Corps sweatshirt. And, in retrospect, because at the time I thought nothing of it other than, I'm a Marine and we like to let everybody... We love to let you know that we're a Marine. I mean, let's just call a spade a spade. We don't wear a Marine Corps hat for nothing, right? We don't put on a Marine Corps shirt for nothing. I mean, we want you to know that we know that you know that we know. You know what we know? We know. So, here's the thing I want to say in retrospect. Number one, they probably shouldn't sell 3X Marine Corps sweatshirts. They probably shouldn't sell 3X military anything. It's a bad look. It's a bad look. It's a bad look. It's a bad look for the Marine Corps, and it was a bad look on me. And I shouldn't have done it. There shouldn't be 3X Marine Corps gear, and then or that's A, and then B. I certainly, if you're former military, and I'm saying this with peace and love, if you're former military and you need a 3X. Just don't wear anything military. Don't wear drab green. Don't wear camo. Don't wear, go Army. Don't go Navy. Don't wear a Marine Corps. Don't wear a Marine Corps hat. Don't wear a Navy hat. Don't wear an Army hat. Do yourself a favor. Because it's a bad look. I recognize it now. It's a bad look. And I wish somebody would have pulled me aside and said, listen, no. When you get back to where you're not looking like anything other than a Marine, then you can wear Marine Corps gear. With peace and love, I say that. I'm not saying they shouldn't sell 3X gear, because I think that anybody should be able to wear Marine Corps gear, Army gear, Navy gear. You're a fan, you have a relative, a child, and it's fine for you to need a 3X. Totally fine. But if you're a former Marine Corps like I am, I shouldn't have done that. Again, with peace and love, retrospect, I see it now. Okay, 72-hour challenge of sardines. My ketones have finally come back up. They're now at 1.4. And my glucose was 71 today. It was amazing. I mean, my Dr. Boz ratio... I don't know if I can show you my Dr. Boz ratio on this iPad. I'm not going to bother, but I think my Dr. Boz ratio is like 56 today. That is amazing for me, especially since I've been struggling with being in a state of ketosis. Because let's face it, friends, if your ketones are less than 1.0, you're not in a state of you're not in a nutritional state of ketosis, which just simply means you can say you're keto all day. Oh, I'm keto, and you're not. I have not been keto for the last 4 or 5 days because I have not been in an actual state of ketosis. Those are just the facts. And for those out there who are like, well, I don't check my blood every day because I don't need to, I would say that I didn't change really anything in my diet. And I mean really, because the only thing I added was a little heavy cream, and I didn't add anything to the heavy cream. It wasn't like I was going, like, add some walnuts to the heavy cream or some heavy syrup. I had keto ice cream, which is just heavy cream. I didn't even add, like there's recipes out there where you can add, like, egg into it. I didn't do any of that. I just literally whipped up some heavy cream, threw it in the freezer, let it chill, peace and love, and my ketones drop. Again, it could have been anything else too. I don't know. I'm super new. This is week number 17 or 18 that I've been keto. I'm a brand new student here. I'm still learning. So I don't have all the answers, but I did start doing sardine challenge on Monday morning. This is my third day in, and my ketone, I'm back up over a 1. So that's the answer. If you get below a 1 with ketones, go to sardines. It works. I don't know why it works, how it works. I kind of know why it works. I try to explain it, but I want to make sure that I'm not getting it wrong. I think it is because we're not getting into a state of autophagy, which means that this, by the way, is the first week in 17 weeks that I've not fasted for 3 days. I normally fast. I start my fast. I have a meal on Sunday, and then I fast until Wednesday. I don't even eat until Wednesday. So it's always been a 3-day fast. For 17 weeks in a row, I've done a 3-day fast. But Dr. Boz says that if you're not in a state of ketosis and you try to fast, it's way more difficult. And in fact, it's like white knuckling it. You're going to just have to power through. And as rugged and as strong as I am, what the hell's the point of powering through? If you're not in a state of ketosis, you need to get into a state of ketosis and then fast. So this is my first week in 17 weeks of not doing a water fast for 3 days. Instead, I chose to do a sardine fast for 3 days because, again, not in a state of ketosis. But I will be continuing my fast after this week. Sunday, I'll have my meal, and then I will, once again, 3 days, no food, just water, black coffee, salt, and a Zepbound. I want to always remind you that I am taking Zepbound. I do 3 things for my health right now. Well, I'm doing 3 things. I take a bunch of things, but I do 3 things. I fast for 72 hours every week. I eat 1 meal a day when I'm not fasting. However, I was just talking to a friend of mine. I think I might start eating 2 meals a day because I might not be getting enough calories. Can you believe that? I just said that. Never in my life have I gone, I don't think I'm getting enough calories. I've never said that. I've never thought it. I've never thought that. Okay. And I take Zepbound. I do 2.5 is, milliliters or whatever the dosage. 2.5 is what I do on the Zepbound. I do it every Wednesday today. And in addition, I take creatine every morning, and I take methylene blue with my creatine, and I eat salt all the time. And I just eat it. A lot of people are like, I put it in a drink. I don't put it in a drink. I literally just eat it. It's crystallized, it's yummy, it's big, it's crunchy, takes my hunger away. It's really, really great. I love it so much. It's really great. So I get all over I start doing this podcast, and I talk like a million miles an hour. I'm so excited to be here. I'm so excited at the opportunity to share what I'm doing and how it's going for me, and how the possibility, just the possibility that I'm helping somebody, that somebody is like, oh, that makes sense, or oh, I should try that. I mean, I'm here for it. I am here for it. Anyway, that's why I'm willing to show warts and all back here. I'm willing to show you it all. I am not hiding. I don't think you should either. Not that you should tell anybody. You do not have an obligation to tell anybody what diet you're doing. You do not have an obligation to tell people that you're on Ozempic or Zepbound or a GLP-1. Everybody who looks down at you and is like, he's on the GLP-1 or she's cheating. They can F off. With peace and love. Between you and me, brother, they can F off. Who the hell cares what they think? Not me. Not me. Not you. Not you. I went to a play once. I'm going to tell you, there are seasons in life, right? I'm sure you agree, I'm 55 right now. I'm almost 55. But there have been seasons in my life, and I got to tell you, when I was 42, 43, I had the biggest breakthrough in my life. And if you're around your 40s right now, I hope you get kicked in the dirt. Oh my God, do I hope you get kicked in the dirt, because I got kicked in the dirt at 42 years old, and it was the best thing. It sucked. It sucked, brother. I'm not going to lie to you. It wasn't fun. But man, the outcome was amazing. I mean, it was the absolute best thing for me. I went to a play in New York City, and it's a Shakespeare play. I can't think of what it's called at this moment. Who cares? I was trying to impress a girl, I go to this play, and it's like 5 stories, and it's a hotel they're literally doing the play while running through the hotel. Like, you have to take the elevator or the stairs and all these different floors, and the top floor is like this infirmary, like this doctor's office, and they've got these these rooms with all these old beds, and there's a operating room. There's an operating room, and the music is eerie and it's scary, and everybody has masks on, even the people who are just attending the play, and you walk around this hotel and the actors are literally interacting with you, and it's weird, it's bizarre, it's fun. So I go into this operating room, and it's an old operating table where it has leather straps, and they're old. I mean, you can see that these leather straps have been used, and not once, I mean used over and over. Like the leather is curling up, and like the where the buckle goes in, it's like really worn. Like, this thing has been used, and how many people have been strapped to that little operating table and just must have been screaming in the pain and agony. Anyway, I mean, it's intense, dude. It's wild, right? They have like this little gallery where you can walk up a couple of flights of steps, and it's like you could observe. You remember in Seinfeld when Jerry and Kramer are watching the surgery and Kramer accidentally drops a junior mint into the body cavity. For those Seinfeld fans out there, that's what it's like. Like, there's like this. It's not as high, but there's like this little platform where you can literally look down and watch the surgery. And so I get up there, and I'm just, again, I'm 42. I'm struggling. I'm an alcoholic. I'm going through a divorce. I quit my job. I'm trying to impress some lady. I'm not 350 pounds, but I'm probably 280, you know what I mean? Like a 60, I have like 60, 70 pound confidence, right? Like, you lose 40, 50, 60 pounds, you get a lot of confidence, even though you're still nearly 300 pounds, My life was just a mess, is what I'm trying to tell you. I mean, just, I wasn't sure about myself. I didn't know what the hell was going to happen. I had all these big dreams and ambitions, and I couldn't get anything going for myself, right? Like, and here I am, I'm in this room with this operating table, and it's eerie music, and it's weird, and everybody has these white masks on, all the, even, so you don't know anybody who's anybody. And I get up there, and I look down, and I'm just sitting there, and I'm just looking at the operating table, and I'm like, man, that has to be brutal to have had to sit there. And I look up, and somebody had taken a magic marker, and they had written above the door. Like, you had to come all the way in the room and turn around and face the door in order to see what they had written above the door. And it changed my life. It changed my life. Somebody scrawled a few words over the top of a door I saw when I was 42 years old, and holy moly, it was like a lightning bolt that shot straight to my heart. And it said, I'm going to take out the curse words, but it said, I'm going to paraphrase. It said, you can have everything you want if you stop being an effing wussy. Of course, they spelled out the word effin', and they didn't use the word wussy. They did it with another letter that may start with P, like Peterson. You can have everything you want if you stop being an effing wussy. I was like, somebody wrote that message for me. My whole problem, everything that was wrong in my life at that moment was because I was too much of a wussy. Man, it still gives me chills. It still fires me up. Fires me up, dog. I hope it fires you up because it is the truth. Unapologetically keto. I don't care. I'm unapologetically on Ozempic or Zepbound. I don't care what you say. I don't care what you think. I'm not doing it for you. Man, fired up. Did I talk about this? All right, so somebody asked a question in Dr. Boz's live yesterday. And man, I am fired up. Listen, I'm not for everybody. I know that. I know. I talk too fast. Well, that just means you have to listen fast, all right? That's all it means. I talk fast, you listen fast. That's the rules. No, I know I'm not for everybody. I know I'm not the smartest. I know I'm not the fastest, not the strongest. I'm not everybody's cup of tea. I know. Fine. But if I'm your cup of tea, if you're relating to anything, if you're like, you know what, in your car, driving along, looking on your phone, if you're watching me on your phone right now, then you're my people, brother. Then you're my people. Then you're my people. Because that's how I watch all my podcasts. I watch podcasts all the time, glued to my phone. That's when I do it. I put it up on the shelf as I'm cooking. I do it on the shelf while I'm working out. I do it on the shelf while I'm, in the little holder when I'm driving my car. I put on a podcast. I'm always looking at my phone. Let me say this. If you're in your 40s to 60, let's say, you're a man. It doesn't matter. I'm not saying that you have to be a man between 40 and 60. I'm just saying, but if you are, and you're digging what it is I'm trying to do here, and you're finding this helpful, do me a favor. Subscribe to this channel. Like a video. Comment. Tell somebody. Share it. It doesn't cost you anything. And it lets me know, at the very least, that I'm making some headway here, because it's all I want to do. I have nothing for sale. I'm not selling anything. The only thing I was not selling, but putting out there was Dr. Boz's 21-day metabolic kick. But you're too late. That's already started. She already sold it out. Knew she would. I mean, that's what I did. I did that 21-day class. She does it twice a year. She does it again in September, I think. That's when I took it in September. It changed my life. And Dr. Boz is, she's a nerd. She's nerdy. She gets into the science, into the weeds, and I dig it. I'm here for it. I'm not only reading the life of a cell, I'm highlighting things. I'm like, listen to this passage. Listen to this. There's a series of experiments that have shown that when two individuals of the same species are placed in close contact, the smaller of the two will always begin to disintegrate. It is autodestruction due to the lytic mechanism entirely under the governance of the smaller partner. He is not thrown out, not outgamed or outgunned. He simply chooses to bow out. What? Of course, they're talking about cell reproduction. They're not talking about human beings bound. They're talking about if two cells or two mitochondria meet up and one is smaller and the other one's bigger, the smaller one will just simply, I'm out of here. You go ahead. You take over. Holy moly. How does that not make you excited? Like that's worth picking up the book. That's what I say. It's worth picking up the book. Anyway. So Dr. Boz, subscribe. I know you're watching on your phone right now. Hit the subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything. You'll be fine. And I appreciate you. So thank you. So anyway, somebody asked something about brain health, and Dr. Boz was saying that the best fat for brain health is the fat that you get from C10 and C8. C10 more than C8. But she says it comes from coconut oil. But the problem with coconut oil is it's 50% C12. And C12 doesn't pass the blood-brain barrier. Now, you're going to ask me, what the heck does the C stand for? And I don't know. I don't have any idea. Oh, wait, I do know. Here it is. It is caprolic. Caprolic? Caprylic. Caprolic. Caprolic acid. C8, C10. Okay. And so she gave this whole lecture about it. And, for your brain health, the best thing to get is this, either do MCT oil or coconut oil and C8 and C10. And I was like, wait a minute. I think I bought, it was in the cupboard. I totally forgot I had it. And so I wanted to share that with you because, obviously this was full when I first bought it. And for some reason I stopped taking it. And I don't know why. If it's good for your brain, that's why I'm taking the methylene blue. It's good for your brain. Then it's good for your brain. Creatine, good for your brain, right? Good for your brain. And of course I get Jocko creatine because, if you know, you know, right? It's Jocko. It's Jocko. Do I have to say anything more? No, it's Jocko. You got to support Jocko. I've been getting Jocko creatine forever. That and white tea. White tea. All right, so Friday night. Let me get to my little story here. Sometimes I have to take a long time. Not that I have to, but sometimes I do take a long time to tell a very short story or to get to the point. Friday night, my wife and I would go out with friends, and we haven't seen them in a little bit, and so they're, I've lost, 70 pounds in 17, 18 weeks. So, I look a lot different, and they're just amazed, right? Which is very nice, and I'm embarrassed because the last thing I want is this stupid dinner to be about me, because you know what they start doing? They go, oh, because it's an Italian restaurant. Oh, is there anything you're going to be able to eat here? And I'm like, oh, gee, good Lord, could we not make this meal about me? Could we just, and then, because it's an Italian restaurant, they come out with the Parmesan cheese, and then they come out with the tomato slurry thing, and then they come out with a basket of bread, and then they come out, right? Before you even order food, they've fed you 18 things, And I'm like, no, thank you, no, thank you, no, thank you. And it's a price-fixed menu, and so the dessert comes later, and it's a whole thing. And everybody's concerned for me. Stop being concerned for me. I'm not suffering, all right? I'm not suffering. I'm unapologetically keto. Stop making me explain myself. Anyway, so they know I'm doing keto, and they don't agree with fasting, of course, and they don't agree with Zepbound. They think all of that is bad. But with peace and love, I only have so much explaining in my body that I care to go through. And some people, I just don't know to explain myself, so I just don't, or whatever. Fasting's really bad for you. Okay. Thank you. Appreciate you. All right. All right. Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Whatever. Anyway, my wife says, because I wrote a whole book about this called Adventures in Dietland. If you haven't picked this up, do your friend here a solid and go buy this book. I even made it as an audiobook so you can listen to it. So you can just listen to me reading the book. This is the back of the book, which is pretty freaking awesome. It's me in a bathtub full of junk food. It was such a fun photo shoot. And I am not going to lie. I ate a lot of that food. I was doing Weight Watchers at the time, and these were all the things that I had basically given up doing Weight Watchers. And me and my friend went to all these places. We went to KFC. We went to pizza places. We went to Burger King and Pizza Hut. And we went to, we went grocery shopping and bought donuts and muffins and peanut M&Ms. God, I loved peanut M&Ms. And, all of this junk food for this photo shoot. And then the moment of truth, the photo shoot's over. My friend's leaving, and she's like, what are you doing with all this food? I'm going to sit down in my underwear in the middle of the room and have a little party. What do you mean? What am I doing with all this food? I ate so much of it because I had gone so long without having any of it, Oh, good Lord. Anyway, in this book, in addition to talking about the rules of dieting, which is the point of that book, I came up with 50 rules that are still relevant, even with keto. They're still relevant. They're really, really great. Like pee in the woods, burn your fat clothes. Just a couple of the rules I can think of off the top of my head. Do the dishes, throw out your microwave. All these little rules here that I go in the book. But I also share my story about waking up at 350 pounds and really, I come clean with all these embarrassing stories. And so one of the stories that I had told in that book is about going and ordering Chinese food. And I had lived by a Chinese restaurant that was just down the road. And so I was constantly going there. But here's the thing. Every time I ordered from there, I'd call and I'd put in an order. Then I'd walk down and I'd go get the two bag. It would come in, like a bigger bag and a smaller bag. It was 2 bags. And I made the point that every time I did, they always gave me 6 paper plates, 6 knives, plastic knives, plastic forks, and 6 fortune cookies. Because that's how much food I ordered. They assumed I was ordering for 6. And of course, I wasn't ordering for 6. I was ordering for me. And it wasn't like, oh, I'm going to get enough food for a few days. That was dinner. I was literally just going to eat. My stomach was so big, as you can see from behind me over here. I would put General Chow's chicken, that comes in that little metal tin, and I would just put it on my stomach and I would just lean back in my lazy boy and I would eat until I couldn't eat anymore. And I'd be like, oh, and I'm like going to the chicken fingers and the whatever, the fried rice and the spare ribs and the wontons and all the things. And I'd eventually pass out. I'd fall asleep. I'd get like a sleep hangover or whatever. And I'd come to and I'm like, oh yeah. And I would just keep eating. Like, anyway, that's funny. And so once I told that story, they're like, oh, they couldn't believe it. They're like, oh my God, I can't believe that you are really like that. Like, you really ate that much food. And we're talking about what I would order and what my favorite things in Chinese were and all the things. And then I was like, boy, that's nothing. I mean, unless you've been kicked off of an airplane, and then you could just see, like, we're having dinner, the food is coming and the fork is in midair, they're like, doo-doo-doo. And I go, and you haven't lived until you've been kicked off an airplane, and they can't even go, they just have to put their fork down. They're like, wait a minute, you got kicked off of an airplane? I'm like, hand to God. I didn't get kicked off. I got asked to leave. I got given this ultimatum. I got told, hey, we have a little bit of a weight problem on the plane, and so we're thinking that we have 2 options. Either one, we can ask for a few volunteers to take a later flight, or if you are willing to take a later flight, you would be enough. So either 2 or 3 other people or just you. Imagine getting that tap on the shoulder. That really happened to me. A small regional plane. I was going to Pennsylvania. I was going there for a big important meeting. Oh my God. The story is even worse when you consider that I had just secured my first full-time writing job as a columnist. So I had been submitting columns to every magazine, trade magazine, that would accept any kind of unsolicited columns. Like, I'm just constantly sending out columns. Like, hey, can you use this and can you use that? And I'm trying to build my resume as a writer, and I work in management development, so I'm writing all about leadership stuff. And, so there's not like 100 magazines that even entertain that kind of content. So eventually I get a magazine to start publishing my work, and I start getting some notoriety, and I start getting some, some nice letters and some comments like, hey, you're really good at this. Oh, that's a great concept, like some engagement. And then I got that phone call where the trade magazine called me and they said, hey, how would you feel about being our featured columnist? You'd have, it's a paid gig. You'd have to have a 4,000 word column every month. Like, it was the biggest deal to me. I mean, I couldn't believe it. I was finally living my dream of being a actual bona fide writer. I mean, getting paid to be a writer, and you don't get, I think I got paid like 19 cents a word. So let's not, I wasn't making a living with the 4,000 word column once a month, but it had me, once you say yes and you're committed to it, all of a sudden you're writing a 4,000 or 5,000 word column a month. I mean, and before long I had enough for a book and then another book. And I'm 9 books in at this point, and it all started because I got this opportunity to be the featured columnist, and it forced me to write every day. So anyway, I say yes, I take the job. I am so happy. It's about a month before this trip that I'm taking to Pennsylvania to do a tour of a hospital. And right before the trip, I get a package in the mail, and they had surprised me. They had put my picture, I got to find it to show it to you. I'll have to post it. My picture on the cover of the magazine. All 350 pounds of me. I look like this big fat mess. But I'm on the cover of the magazine, and there in the little tag is like introducing our new featured columnist, Mr. Ralph Peterson. I mean, guys, that was badass, right? So I take it with me. I go to the airport, and I can't have it in my bag. I can't have it in my work bag. I mean, nobody's going to see it. So I hold it in my hand. And everywhere I go to get coffee, I hold it. I'm literally holding it like this so that my picture is showing. I'm just dying for anybody to go, hey, that's you on the cover of the magazine. I'm dying for that to happen. And it doesn't happen, right? It doesn't happen. Because, when you're 350 pounds, there's one thing that you are is noticeable and invisible at the same time. Everybody sees you, but nobody wants you to see them seeing you. So they're like, look at that guy. And then they, if you start turning your head, they're like, oh, I'm going to tie my shoe, right? Like they don't want to be caught looking at you. So I'm seen, but not seen. So I'm taking all the attention. Nobody's looking at the fat guy on the cover of the magazine. So now I get on the airplane, and it's one of those situations, again, where I am going to have to ask for a seatbelt extender. Have you ever had to ask for a seatbelt extender? Because if you haven't, well, good, because that's mortifying. And the first time that I asked for a seatbelt extender, I didn't actually ask for one. The stewardess, attendant, whatever you want to call her, whatever the politically correct thing to say is, flight attendant, maybe that's the political way. She came up and said, "You're going to need a seatbelt extender." Like rudely. You're going to, guys, I'm trying, I'm sucking it in. I'm undoing my pants so that like maybe if I can get another ½ inch, I can make that buckle snap. I just want to hear that snap. And this stewardess or flight attendant came over, and she's like, "You're going to need a seatbelt extender." And she goes off to get me one, and I was so mad. How embarrassing, right? But again, I did it to myself. So all right. So I get in the seat, and it's a 2-seater because it's a small regional plane, and there's a guy sitting in the window seat. I'm in the aisle seat, and I am wrestling with it, and I got my magazine, and I can't hold my magazine and use 2 hands. So I say to this guy, "Would you hold this magazine for me for a minute?" And he's like, "Sure." Of course, he's all like up against the window because he's got this fat guy who's taking up a seat and a half. And he's like, just my luck. So he takes a magazine. And of course, the magazine is face up. Because of course, I'm still trying to get anybody to go, "Hey, that's you on the cover of the magazine." Can't get no love, So he's got it on his lap. I'm struggling with the seatbelt. I finally, I have no idea how, but by the grace of God, I get it to snap. I'm like, "Oh, thank God." And I go and I'm like, "Thanks, man. I appreciate it." And I grab the magazine and I go, "Did you see I'm on the cover?" And he goes, "Oh, no, I didn't see." I was like, "Yeah, I just got hired. It's my first official writing job as the columnist, the featured columnist for the magazine." And I get that much of the conversation out. I'm like, "Oh, yeah, he doesn't care. He didn't ask." I'm just so dying to tell anybody. So I'm like, "Oh yeah, I'm the feature columnist. I just got a job there. I'm very excited." And he's like, "Oh, all right, that's nice." And that right then, right at that moment, at that very moment, is when the stewardess taps me on the shoulder, or flight attendant taps me on the shoulder, and says, "Listen, sir, we have a little bit of an issue. We have a weight issue with the plane. The plane's too heavy, and we have a couple of options. We can ask a few people to leave, to get off the plane, take another flight a little bit later. There's another one leaving in about 90 minutes. It won't be that much of a wait. Or we're thinking if you agree to go, then maybe that'll be enough weight." And I felt my face start to burn red, and my ears are on fire, and I am just so comprehending. It's taking me a minute to understand what she's saying. And I look around, and everybody had stopped talking. And they're all just looking at me. And they're looking at me like, yeah, why don't you just get off the plane so 3 of us don't have to get off the plane? And I couldn't have got off the plane faster. I mean, I got to tell you, friends, I was like, of course. Oh, yeah, no problem. Yeah, no. Yeah, oh, good Lord. I mean, matter of fact, if it'll do you all a favor, I'll just walk to Pennsylvania. You know what I mean? I should have driven. You're right. This was bad. And so I unsnapped the seatbelt, and I grabbed my bag and my magazine, and the guy beside me, as I'm leaving, he goes, "Congratulations on the cover. Congratulations on the cover." I stuck that magazine in my back bag, and I swear this is true. I never showed it to anybody. I never pulled it out again. I hated myself over that. I was so embarrassed. I'm like, good Lord, what is the matter with you? What is the matter with you? What is the matter with you? I was in a meeting once. I have so many of these stories. I gotta tell you, I have so many. There have been so many times. I mean, the more I just sit here and think about it, the more I went to good Lord. Some stories you probably shouldn't share, I mean, somebody's like, "Oh, Ralph, don't share that story. Oh, don't share that story." Well, I'm here to commiserate, my friends. I'm here to commiserate. Warts and all, right? Warts and all. Actually went to a hotel in Maine once and broke the toilet seat. Just went to the bathroom, sat on the toilet seat to use the bathroom, and the toilet seat literally broke in half, like crack. And it hurt. I mean, it hurt. Like, I was like, damn, like a little pinched. I mean, again, having to walk down with a broken toilet seat and it's like a young, it's like a young girl, of course, working behind the counter, and she didn't have to ask. It wasn't like I was like, I should have went in there like, "This toilet seat is defective. What kind of a place are you running here?" Of course, the truth is, and she knew it and I knew it, I was a little too heavy for the toilet. Like, some toilet seats just aren't rated for 350 pounds. They're not meant to, have an elephant sit on them. But she was cool. She was cool. She was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry that happened. I'll have them run right up. We'll install a new one right away." I'm like, "All right, I'm sorry." She's like, No, don't worry about it. Don't worry. I'm like, "Okay, hello." I'm in this meeting. Again, I can tell these stories all day. I was in this meeting, and I really thought I was a hot shit. I mean, I am still full of myself, honestly. I still think I'm a hot shit in some sense. But, I mean, I really enjoy the game of business and the game of sales and the game of management. And I worked for this company for a long time, and I absolutely loved it. And I'd still be working for them today if circumstances were a little different. But I mean, I'm happy because I started my own business, of course. But I just celebrated my 8th year of being in a business by myself. So that's for myself. That's pretty great. But I love this company, and they valued me. They treated me like I was important, and I thought I was important. I attended very important meetings. I had to wear a suit every day, and I'm sitting around a conference room and with a bunch of executives, and everybody is there to have serious discussions about serious things, and I'm there for it. I'm here for it, and I'm a professional, and I clean up well even at 350 pounds. I mean, you can see. I mean, I'm in a where am I? Over here. I mean, I wore a shirt and tie every day, and I just at this meeting we're not in the meeting very long, and we're all just sitting there and we're doing paperwork and stuff, and I just lean back. I just lean back in the chair, and don't you know, laws of gravity and I collide. The chair snaps in half. I fall head over heels. I fall so fast and so hard that my feet kick the table. You know what I mean? Like I flip over, kick the table. So now coffee and water is being spilt everywhere. There's computers and paper. Like I cause a ruckus, and everybody just burst out laughing, including me, because what am I supposed to do? I mean, I'm so mortified, and of course this office that we were in, they didn't have another. It's not like they're like, we're gonna go get you another chair. Like they're like, we only have a plastic chair. Would you think a plastic chair would hold you? That's legit the question they asked. They're like, we have a plastic chair, and I'm like, I'll just stand, or I'll sit on the floor. Actually, you know what? I'm just gonna go home. I'm outie. Who is doing this? Holy moly. Holy moly. All right, I'm going to get out of here. I could do this all day. I really, really enjoy it, and I really appreciate, especially if you made it this far into the video, I really appreciate you tuning in and hearing my war stories and being interested in what I'm doing, and I hope that you're finding some solace, some answers, because if nothing else, that's really what I think that I've really uncovered here for me. And my wife was asking me the other day, and I don't have the answer, but she's like, you started doing 3 things all at once. You started doing the Zepbound, you started doing keto, and you started fasting 3 days a week. She's like, so which one is working? Like, of those 3 things, what do you think it is? And the answer is, I don't know. And so she's like, well, do you think maybe you should stop doing one to see if the other? And my answer to that is no. I think the combination of the 3 are working. So I'm not interested in giving up anything. Could I do this just with Zepbound and keto? Maybe. Could I do this just with keto and fasting? Maybe. Could I just do this with keto? I don't know. Maybe. Could I do this just with Zepbound? I don't know. But I'm not willing to try. These 3 things working in conjunction for me has made me feel better than I have felt in 30 years. 30 years. More than 30 years. I mean, when was I in boot camp? 30 years, I mean, lighter than I've ever been, honestly. I feel sharper. I feel smarter. I do think it's the methane blue. I do think it's keto. Being in a state of ketosis. I do think it's creatine. I think all those things play into a factor with brain health. Dr. Buzz does have a brain health thing. I got to keep looking. It's a little expensive. It seems expensive because I'm not a doctor, although I feel like at this point with all these medical books that I'm reading, I might be able to take my medical board soon. If I do, I'll let you know. Maybe I'll become a keto doctor at the end of this. Why not? I'm young enough to have another career. Anyway, it's not a bad idea. Why not become a keto doctor? I love it. I'm interested in it. I'm willing to do the work. You know what? Before and I don't know why. Let me just say this last thing. And I'm just going to talk to you as a guy, and I think I'm probably most likely talking to a bunch of guys who are just like me, as old as I am, struggling as I have, living the same kind of life that I am. It's kind of what I feel like when I think about who it is I'm talking to on this YouTube live. That's what I think I'm talking. I think I'm talking to a guy in his 40s, 50s, 60s who's struggled with weight all his life and wants some answers. If that's you, that's what I'm thinking. And if that's you, subscribe, hang out, let's be friends. And by the way, let me say this also. I want to have people on the show. I want to learn about people. I'm so curious about your journey and whether you're doing keto or not doing keto, or if you're interested in keto or learning more about keto or just talking about keto, or you're interested in talking about whatever diet you've ever done. I want to hear your life story. I would be so happy to have you on my show. I mean, email me. I'll put it in the show description. My email is simple. It's ralph@ralphpeterson.com. Email me. Like, we do it virtually like this. I would love to have you on the show and just talk. Get to know you, get to know your journey, your story, because every one of us are unique. And I think all of us have important, impactful stories to tell and to share. So, but let me just say this. This morning, I'm reading The Lives of a Cell, which, by the way, I got this book. This is like from 1974. So I did order a new book today on cellular biology, because I really want to know all the answers about how the mitochondria works and how it responds to being in a state of ketosis versus not being in a state of ketosis, which is a big thing that Dr. Boz talks about a lot. But I'm really, really interested in doing a deep dive. So really interested in it. And so I'm reading this book this morning, and it's not an easy book to read because it's talking about cellular parts, and none of the cellular parts have, it's not like John and Smith, easy names. Like, I'm wrestling with the stupid language of the book. And I sit down and I read for like 60 minutes. I don't mean like 60 minutes. I set a timer. I'm that guy. I set a timer. I set a timer for 60 minutes, and I'm just committed to reading. And at the same time, over the last few years, I have been more and more interested in life hacks. I'm interested in cold plunge. I'm interested in saunas. I'm interested in weightlifting and jujitsu and taking methylene blue and creatine and salt and learning about keto. I listen to Joe Rogan all the time, and you could probably tell, Dr. Fetterman and not Fetterman, Huberman, Dr. Huberman, and Dr. Fung, and Dr. Boz, and Dr. Baker, and I'm in it. I'm interested, and I've also for the last couple of years have been flirting with, and not too successfully, by the way, flirting with the idea of breathing exercises and of meditation. I'm a big Dr. Wayne Dyer fan, and he was always big into meditation and the art of meditation. And from what I understand, and anybody can correct me, because I'm a knuckle dragger at the end of the day. So anytime I get something wrong, I'm like, well, I'm a knuckle dragger. I'm a former Marine. What do you want from me? Bang bang. That's what I got. Anyway, and I wasn't even good at that, by the way. I think the whole point of meditation is to train your mind with the ability to concentrate, if only on a single thing, like a mantra, a word, a spot. I've tried the method where you imagine a white light that stares at that touches your toe, and then you watch it trace up your body, up and down, and and you're just trying to make eye contact, like it's a super concentration thing. And this morning, I don't do it a lot. I try, whatever. I understand the principles of it. But this morning, I'm sitting here and I'm reading this book on the lives of a cell, and he's trying to be poetic, and this Lewis guy is it's almost like a poetic. He's trying to be like a poetic. Whatever. I don't know. I'm just saying it was a difficult book to read, and I didn't get that far into it, and I'm kind of having to chew my way through it, and I'm finding myself wandering. My mind's wandering here, my mind's wandering there, and I'm having to bring it back and start the paragraph over or start the sentence over, like, where was I? And I just thought to myself, wait a minute. Isn't this meditation? Isn't this quite literally the point of meditation, is to train your mind to concentrate? And so, I don't know, I'm putting it out there. I think that you could easily meditate by picking up a book as you can to stare at a wall or to close your eyes and imagine a sunbeam tracing the outline of your body. I think reading for 30 minutes a day, sitting in a hard chair at a table with intention, setting a timer is just as good for you. And you probably get just as good benefit of concentration as meditating. I don't have any science to back that up, of course, but it seems right to me. And I'd rather read, to be quite honest. All right, that's it for me. Go get Adventures in Dietland. You can get it anywhere. Barnes & Noble, Amazon. You can get it on Audible. It's an audiobook as well. You can get it on Kindle if that's your forte. If you want it autographed by me, it would be my honor to sign this for you. You can go to ralphpeterson.com and you can see all my books. There's a little tab for books. Just go there and I'll sign you a copy of the book. And honestly, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. If this is resonating, please subscribe. It doesn't cost anything and it really, really helps me. Lets me know you're there. Lets YouTube know that you're there. And come on my show. If you've got a story, you've been heavy, you've been unhealthy, and you've either found your way back or you're fighting your way right now, I would love to have you on. I really, really would. It'd be great. Hang out. I don't have enough friends. You don't have enough friends. I'm a good friend to have. Let's do it. Ralph Peterson, Unapologetically Keto. See you next week.